Hi there, I'm Lou.
Hi, I'm John.
And we're in the series of burning questions that you might want to ask your alcoholic.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're asking yourself. And this burning question is, shall I drink with my alcoholic? Is that a good idea? I think first of all, the basic thing, I think someone asked this recently, the alcoholic was actually getting sober and they asked should they drink in front of them. I think probably our advice would be at the beginning that's probably really not very helpful. In the end, to get out in the world, they kind of will come across situations where people are drinking all the time, but
Sure.
maybe for an agreed period of time. And I know that's a bit hard really, because it's just another kind of choice that your drinker is taking away from you, but actually the little bit of what you give up there might give you huge gains.
It may well do. I mean, another way of looking at it is if you were on a diet and your partner was eating big bars of chocolate in front of you, how would you feel?
Yeah,
and I think, you know, that it's not terribly supportive of you on a diet, you know. I know it's not the same thing, but, you know, you might start to get the idea then.
Yeah. Now, with my husband, we kind of, I used to try and control this, and I used to say we'll get 4 cans of lager and a bottle of wine and we'll halve it, and actually then I thought that I was keeping the situation safe. What I found out after a period of time, because he always appeared to be much drunker than I was, is that was the baseline for him, and then he would put bottles and he would take much more than that. It took me a while to twig that.
That was a surprise, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
what about you and your wife?
Standard practice. My wife, I suggested that I would drink much less, and my wife came to the pub with me.
All right.
And that was actually true. But she only came the once, and it was awful.
Was it?
Because she sat there going, "Is that another one? Are you having another one?" Oh, it was an awful night for her and me, and we decided against it. I think there is a problem that you can get into if you start to drink with the alcoholic, and particularly if the alcoholic is drinking alcoholically. You know, and it's I think they call the syndrome the Days of Wine and Roses after the film. You know, where the salesman was a drinker and he encourages his wife to drink with him, and they both end up alcoholics. He gets to Alcoholics Anonymous and she doesn't. You know, and it's good. It's a very poignant, very sad film, but it's actually it's true on some occasions.
Well, it certainly was true for me, but and it was very subtle, really. I mean, the basic rules were if I could drink more, then he'd drink less, you know, and if he had opened another bottle of wine, then if I just went back and just let him drink the whole of the second bottle, he'd be completely pissed. So if I could join him in that, he'd be less pissed. Also, I think actually until when I married you and you began to reflect back the huge tolerance you saw me had, particularly for red wine. I had no idea that I'd really built up this huge tolerance to alcohol, and was actually drinking a lot more than I realised. So that was quite an interesting moment for me. And I never felt drunk, actually, because I hated being drunk. So I just built up this kind of tolerance to the drink, thinking that everything was fine, and it actually wasn't. So our answer really is probably not a good idea.
I think going back to your question is that should you drink with the person or not? You know, I think should they deny you having a drink? No, of course they shouldn't. That's absolutely ridiculous. Of course they shouldn't. However, you know, I think you need. I think the problem with, you know, questions like this is that it's not black or white. You know, you have to look at the situation. I mean, if, as we talked at the beginning, you know, your drinker was actually going to AA or getting treatment or trying to stay off the drink and you were drinking, then it might not be very helpful. If on the other hand you are drinking with them and they are drinking at the same time, then you know, then you're seen to collude with them. You're seen to, it's acceptable. Well, you're drinking, so why shouldn't I drink? You know, so it puts you in a really difficult position. And the third thing I would say is that it's one of the things that we keep saying in Bottled Up is when he drinks, get out of the way. You know, don't be with them. You know, don't be in the same room as them. Don't be around the drunk. So it's rather difficult to do that if you're actually drinking with them. So I think what you need to do is use a wee bit of common sense here. You know, it's not yes or no. It's yes, maybe sometimes, and no, definitely other times. You know, but you need to look at the situation and say, is this helping or not? And if the answer is no, it's not helping, then you probably shouldn't drink with them.
You can hear the phone in the background. This is what we're doing. We're doing this in our home. I hope you don't mind. We're going to go now.
Yeah.
And bye-bye, and we'll talk to you again.
Bye.